Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show, we're talking about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Kaiju number 8, season 1, episode 7. Great episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So we're immediately picking up where the last episode left off. I also got my answer of, is that guy just randomly here on his own? But it's like, no, the cleanup crews were already called well in advance. And apparently it isn't just the one that Ichikawa and Kafka work for. It's also it's a whole bunch of different ones in Tokyo and different places, because this is such a big operation, so there's going to be a massive need for a cleanup. But either way, they end up, it's Iharu and Ichikawa are going up against, he doesn't get named this episode, but the title of this episode is Kaiju number 9, I believe. So yeah. Also, very big proponent of shooting you, which seems to be his thing. I want to know, like, in other people's opinions, like, villains with, like, the finger gun thing where, like, they can shoot you with a finger or something, do they tend to be the most evil villains? Because obviously, like, when I think of, like, someone using their fingers, like, I think, phrasing, right? Is immediately, like, Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho, the spirit gun. I'm assuming that predates DBZ, because villainous-wise, the first one that comes to my mind, at least that I can remember seeing, was Frieza. So that's my association with it, is I mainly know villains kind of using their, like, especially him, because it's like he's just pointing a finger out, pow, 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 but he sends out other parts of his body that can shoot out, like, bullets, too. But that seems to be the most villainous thing you can do, especially, like, how he uses it later on when he's, like, just shooting you, just like he's treating them like little rablets he can poke and prod. But yeah, like, it gets sent out super fast. Luckily, Ichikawa has some resources in the back of his mind, because they know that this is because of Kikuro's encounter. They know this is the same one from the exam, but I think Ichikawa and Kafka ended up getting some intel about this thing, and it actually benefits Ichikawa because he's got the skill set for it. He's able to kind of recognize this thing's attacks. He got hit a couple times, the leg and the side, but eventually he starts dodging and he starts putting up a fight, and he sends Iharu away. It's like, yo, you need to go get some backup, because I don't know if we can beat this thing. But for him, it's like, I'm still going to give it my best, because for him, it's like, in this moment, I get to be like Kafka was in episode 1, because it's like, I gotta be like the person I admire, and it's really sweet. Like, yes, they had this, like, back and forth relationship where Ichikawa will talk crap, but it's also like he highly respects him as the guy that's like, no matter what happens, if it means protecting someone, he's going to give it 110%. He's going to put his life on the line, and Ichikawa's trying to do the same thing. And Iharu's dealing with the having to run away from the battle, but it's also like, for him, it's like he continues to, like, Ichikawa ends up speeding ahead of me in so many capacities. Iharu has to deal with that, because for him, it's like, I've been following in Mina's shadow the entire time. When she saved me that day, he's like, I've been stuck there over and over, like, waiting for someone to save me. Because for him, it's like, Hoshina had told them about the 20 to 30% is usually the cap off for most people. Some people, like, you do have the potential to go further. It's just a matter of, can you do it? And apparently, he's been stuck at 20% for the past 2 weeks. I can't remember if he was the one that was at 18% in episode 3. If that was him, Aoi, or the other guy. I can't remember. I think he was at 18%, but maybe I'm misremembering. Either way, like, for not have made much progress and you're stagnant, like, it's also going to be it's a heavily psychological thing as well. But luckily he did come back when he did, because if he hadn't, Ichiharu would have bit the dust, because at that point he'd only been using one finger, because that's all Kikuro saw. So he ends up sprouting more, like, spots from his back to shoot off bullets, and cause a massive explosion. But luckily, Iharu showed up when he did. But we also found out this thing can manipulate space to some extent, and we kind of see that utilized in the battle too. I guess you can make that argument, but he put up, like, a barrier, so, like, their communications can't get out, and no one can exit this space. I guess it means anyone could enter it, but I guess you have to be a special case to be able to enter it. Maybe it's like it only blocks humans and not kaijus. Maybe that's the asterisk to it, because he was surprised later on. So, and he even says later on, like, oh, the barrier's down. I guess that's why people from the defense force are showing up now. So it must only block humans. But he's like, yeah, you can't leave here without my permission. So Ihara wouldn't have been able to get back up even if he wanted to. So they're kind of stuck doing this, and you're like, oh god, this is a tough battle, because even they recognize, like, yo, Kikaru couldn't even handle it, and she's the strongest of them, and even she couldn't handle this thing. But they still have to put in their work. I like, once again, showcasing the different type of ammunition that they have, because Iharu ends up using a kind of stunning, like, lightning type of bullet, and is backing up Ichikawa to kind of hit that strike. He's like, just in this one moment, give me more power than Kikuro or even Mina. I need to make this count. Unloads a whole bunch of fire, but the problem is that the kaiju is able to take the corpses, like, because we know he can manipulate and mold them, because he's the one that added the whole reproductive organs, but I guess we can see that he could also, like, form them around himself and use them like a shield. So I guess he can manipulate their matter to be whatever he needs them to be. And so he's like, yeah, he would block all of Ichikawa's attacks and then rips it apart to attack him and fills him in holes. Because he had talked about it, that to understand the defense force more, he wants to study them to understand them better, because he's gotten a better understanding of them a little bit, but he initially was like, oh, like, my aim is off because I'm in this human form. Then he transforms, like, whoa, my aim is still off, but it's because Ichikawa and eventually even Iharu, like, were able to dodge certain attacks. But that one, they're so rapid and they were so close range, he didn't have an opportunity to get away and just get splattered with bullets. And yeah, he's just toying with them at this point in time. Obviously, the outside kind of heard, like, yo, we lost communication with those two, and we've lost signs with their vitals. And in that moment, like, with some of, like, the other kaiju, in particular the Yoju, like, acting the way they are, Kikaru is like, it's definitely that guy from the exam. And so Kafka's like, right, I gotta jump into action. It's like, well, how will you find him? It's like, I can sense him. This makes me wonder, can other kaiju not do that? Or is, like, he a special case, or maybe other kaiju can't sense Kafka? Or is it he's just a special case because he can sense them, because kaiju number 9 got completely blindsided by Kafka. Like, even though he's really fast, he should have seen it coming, considering, like, Kafka can sense them from a distance away himself. So that might be an ability unique to him, or specifically the kaiju inside of him. But I mean, I was nervous. I even said it last episode. I'm like, oh god, this feels like no one's safe. Like, yes, he's in the outro, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I was like, there's a good chance that, like, and Haru would, like, die here. And I was like, please don't. Especially because he's breaking down. He's like, please, like, Reno needs to live. He's like, he definitely has the potential to be a captain. So it's like he's like, even if it's a demon or even the devil himself, please, Reno, save my friend, you know? And luckily, Kafka got there in time and hit the guy, knocked his head clean off. And then he takes care of Ichikawa. It's like, don't worry, I got you. It might take a little longer, but I got this. And he ends up shooting Kafka, which this is the first time we've seen him get hurt in its kaiju form. But for Kafka, all he can focus on, this is what you hit them with. And then just kind of, like, the moment he barrages a whole bunch of other bullets at him, like, Kafka, like, does kind of like a roar that basically acts like a shielding, kind of like a sonic roar that, like, disrupts and stops all of the incoming shots, and then proceeded to lay into him. Because I love that the entire time, like, this kaiju's trying to process everything. He's like, what's going on here? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, I gotta protect myself. Wait, he's getting through the protection. I need to retreat. Wait, retreat is not an option. And just Kefka's just leaning in, hitting hard as hell. He's like, I know where your core is. That's the thing. The worst possible person, someone who's kind of dissected enough of kaiju, he'd make a really good member of like a research team for the defense force, but like him along with the capabilities to back it up makes him a deadly opponent for a kaiju. So he knows exactly where his core is. Locks in once I didn't comment on it like in episode 4, but I do like I talked about like the mutation, but more specifically like the locking himself in, very much like Mina kind of locking herself in the ground, but then like he kind of uses like a jet propulsion. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the main protagonist of I once again, it's been 2 decades and I still don't know how to properly pronounce this anime's name because it came out like early to mid 2000s. Is the S Cryid is S dash the word cry dash ed if I remember correctly. So I've always said S Cryid. That's always been my. I mean, I wonder is it like Scride or something like that. I don't know. I've never actually bothered to look up the proper pronunciation. But the main protagonist, he has like a giant gauntlet type of weapon, and like it has like a jet propulsion to it. This kind of reminds me of that, you know, and just like him like jet propulsing like his like punch, adding more force to it. Sent the guy flying, didn't kill him, which showcases how tough he is, but his core's exposed. I was thinking like, oh, he's gonna try and get away. I thought it was interesting too because he even says like, yo, I'm taking so much damage so quickly, I can't actually heal, which I guess does answer the question I was wondering. I guess maybe the higher up kaijus probably have regenerative abilities, so you need to kind of keep the pressure up until you like, you know, kill them properly. But yeah, his core is exposed, but my thinking was, well, Kikuro is going to show up and kill him, but no, she's back handling business, kind of holding down the fort. But I think she's also trying to use this opportunity to try and catch up with Kefka as well. But before Kefka can do anything, because the barrier's down and they know like, oh, this is the general area Ishikawa and Haru were, so we need to go in and check on them. And so Defense Force member shows up. You're like, damn it, worst possible time, because they ended up serving as a distraction long enough for this thing to heal and get away. So it's like, oh, I underestimated you, but I'll be prepared next time. It's like, that's the problem. This thing is going to have countermeasures against Kefka next time, because it was completely and utterly blindsided, because it knew about Kaiju number 8, but not knowing like, right, you're acting more like a human because I aimed for these Defense Force members and you defended them, which means this thing knows Kefka's weakness too, of not only am I going to know how to fight you and be more prepared for what you can do, so you better have some more tricks up your sleeve by then, rather than just jettisoning and like being fast and like overwhelming them with pure force. You're going to probably need a few more capabilities to find out what else you can do in the kaiju form. But also it knows it can use humans against you. So that's also the bad rub of it all. Kefka does have one slight advantage. The thing doesn't know, it just knows him as a kaiju. It doesn't know he has a human form. And even if it does, it won't register, wait, you're still the human Kefka. You're not like whatever. My assumption was like this thing took over some random dude's body, but maybe it kind of did like a Fighter D from Go-Go Loser Ranger thing and just chose a random form. Maybe it's like accumulation of different aspects of other people you've come across to make this fictitious person. Whatever the case may be. I thought it was interesting how it disappeared too. Like it basically like sizzled away, almost like it broke itself apart into like elements and disappeared. Like I wonder like how does that work? I mean, this thing, like I said earlier, kind of shifts kaiju matter around, which begs the question, I wonder, could it do it to any other organic material, or is it just kaijus, so that including itself, it can manipulate that matter on such a level? I don't know. I'm curious what the explanation for that's going to be, if they'll even really go into it. But yeah, Kefka's got to immediately get away after the fight ends. And I was nervous because I was like, please don't de-transform in front of Hoshina, because who knows how that's going to play out. But no, he just simply runs into Hoshina, and Hoshina's like going for the jugular. And it's like, he's like, oh, you're the one that's been messing with my men, not knowing it was Kaiju number 9 doing it. But even, who cares? He's still a Kaiju and he needs to be killed. So obviously Ichikawa's worried, so is Kiguro, and Hoshino, like I said, going for the jugular. Luckily, Kefka was able to dodge it, but that was before he starts going I mean, who's to say this is him fully going all out? But he goes to 92% like immediately when it's like, oh, usually I can handle small to medium guys pretty quickly, but oh, you're pretty good. Yeah, you are pretty tough. So time for me to be the one to exterminate you. So, and obviously Kefka is going to be in a tough position. It's like, well, do you go a little hard in the paint against him because you need to, because if you don't, you're dead. But also you don't want to hurt him because he's your superior officer and you respect him, you know. And also you don't want to end up killing any humans. So you also probably want to make sure you deal with this before Mina shows up. I mean, granted, Mina's more the long range person, which that could be an issue, but Hoshino says he's going to handle this himself, so Mina probably won't interfere currently, but that's still something he'll probably have to be wary of because, like, she does have that long-range sniper rifle, so considering his size and everything, it could obliterate. But it's also like because he is so small, like, you know, he has a lot more agility than the big juggernauts she usually takes down, you know. So that's why Hoshino is more fit for this job. So it's going to be interesting to see how this situation concludes. I can only assume. I'm just curious to see like what the end result is. Like if Kefka's just going to manage to get away and revert to his human form and disappear, or will he give Hoshino a run for his money? Probably not. But also Kefka does also comment on, yo, this is like he's usually all smiles and stuff because obviously he's your Fox character that's like, oh, very sly and silly and blah blah blah. But then like when I get serious, my eyes open, you know, cliche. Funny enough, you know, making me think about like, was it episode 10 of Witch Watch, like all those characters from the student council, which are cliches from like anime and manga, and they brought up the whole like, oh my god, his eyes open, he's really serious and scary type of thing. It just made me immediately think of that. Either way, I've been running my mouth off long enough. I'm excited to see how this bout plays out going forward into the next episode. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.